Hey, welcome to another episode of Chaz Beer Reviews. Another West Coast beer, except a completely different style this time. Going back to Firestone Walker, this is their Walker's Reserve Porter. It's pretty small by their standards, only 5.8%. Nothing else about it on the bottle, but let's get into the glass here. I could smell it as soon as I popped it. It smells great, but it's a classic porter appearance. Black body. The head's a lot lighter though. It's just like a light kind of tan froth. I can smell it as soon as I pop the top, and it smells more like a stout than a porter. Well, it has like that sweet porter kind of smell to it. Like almost like a cherry on here, almost like that like Dr. Pepper kind of sweet kind of aroma to it. Very malty. So I'm hoping this is going to be, interesting because I'm so used to big beers from these guys. So let's see what they can do with a porter. Cheers. Yeah, it's like when I said in the nose, like this kind of cherry Dr. Pepper kind of taste to it. Definitely kind of dark fruits in there. Bitter through the middle. You get kind of like a coffee bitterness on the middle and then the aftertaste. A little bit of chocolate, not a whole lot. Again, it's a porter, not a stout, so it's not like super roasty as much as a stout would be. Definitely more hoppy than your average porter. They are a West Coast brewery after all, so that's not really that surprising. Yeah, so like constant hot bitterness throughout the whole thing. Not that it's like a super high IBU beer. I mean, I don't think it is, but I don't know. It's probably in the 40s, maybe 50s tops. So certain, constant bitterness on this one. And like I said, like kind of like coffee kind of bitterness, but not like coffee kind of taste per se. It's like I said, much more focusing on the sweet maltiness on this one. Quite fruity. It's very smooth. Very smooth, actually. Has like a nice kind of, I'm not calling this a thick mouthfeel, but it's certainly not thin. Right there in the middle. Has like a nice, real kind of subtle carbonation to it. It's not getting stuck in the throat. Goes down very smooth. It kind of coats the mouth for like just like really, really briefly while it's in the mouth. But it actually finishes quite clean. Like maybe a little bit of hop, a little bit of kind of roasty aftertaste, but otherwise quite clean. Anyways, got quite a lot of beer here left, so I'm gonna go write a review of this and we'll come back with my final thoughts. Cheers. Alright, I'm back finishing up the Walker's Reserve, and I just noticed that the bottling date on this says April 7th of 2011 or July 4th, I don't know. Yeah, so it's an old bottle, well over a year old. But you know what? It still held up. I was drinking it too cold at the beginning there, and as we took a nice kind of half hour, 45-minute break there, the flavors really started to open up as it warmed up. Started to get a lot of like confectionery sweetness, especially toffee. Some kind of black licorice in there. It was finishing very clean at first, but now that it's warming up, the hops are kind of lingering. It's kind of like a coffee kind of aftertaste, like when you just have your morning coffee, the same kind of aftertaste you kind of get in this beer. Very smooth, stays smooth throughout, nice like perfect carbonation, didn't get stuck in the throat at all, goes down very smooth. Still getting the kind of black cherry, prune kind of sweetness to it. It's becoming richer, a little more robust as it warms. And what's interesting is that, it's only 5.8%, and I think they bumped up to 5.9 for 2012, but, it makes it very versatile. Because this palette here, combined with the weight of it, I could totally see myself having this with meal, or as dessert, or just to sit around and drink on its own. And all that being said though, is that it's still not an amazing beer. It does have a little bit of unique qualities to it for a porter, certainly hoppier than your average porter. And the sweetness on it is nice. It gets a little bit cloying now as it's warming, but I can tolerate it. Founders Porter is still like probably the benchmark for the best porter, but you know, this one is a nice kind of runner-up. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 to the Firestone Walker's Reserve Porter. You know, it's a very good beer, and a really good example for the style. So I liked it. So that does it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.